Hello there. Today is recapping day 57 of working on a currently untitled project, so let's hop right in. So, there was no video for day 54. I ended up not doing any work, and as an extension of that, I'm also deciding that if I end up not doing work on any given day, I'm going to just not post a video. Seems like just sort of a waste, and maybe it helps me keep accountable, but, you know, it would just sort of end up being filler. If I have something to say, then I can, but otherwise, no. So, I'll talk a bit about what happened afterwards. But hopping right in. So I made a piercing railgun projectile. It can pierce up to 4 targets right now by default. That is an adjustable number. It is also still using hit stop, so that's why there's a slight slowdown when it it's not the game hitching, it's just an intentional hit stop slowdown whenever it hits an enemy. And yeah, so yeah, I like it. It's certainly progress. It is stopped by walls. So it can't shoot through walls, and it's also stopped by enemy shields. So if I aggro this guy over here and just keep shooting him, you'll see that I'm not damaging what's behind the shield. And I have to first get through the shield in order to... There we go. I think sometimes it doesn't actually hit the shield, because that was way too many shots. So I need to adjust my code a bit, I think. I might just need to extend out the second sphere cast to just a little bit, just to make sure that catches everything. Because it may be stopping just short. Yeah, I might want to debug draw that as well. Anyways, let me see. The other thing that I ended up doing was I went through all the projectiles, and I'm manually setting their layout now. That used to be set by the projectile script, just automatically like, hey, if the entity that spawned you was on the enemy team, you're an enemy projectile, otherwise you're a friendly projectile. Or player projectile. The problem was that, based on how I was doing things, what would happen is those projectiles there would all collide with each other because their layers weren't set. So they, by default, they were on layer default because the physics step ran, then spawned the objects, So I should get into this in the ramble section. I'm done talking about core stuff, so if you want to listen to me ramble for a bit, feel free to stick around. Otherwise, feel free to head out. But basically, because this here runs before the actual physics update runs, this isn't like an on-collision enter sort of scenario. It's manually checking for targets. The issue is that the objects, the entity would get killed here, and the projectiles would spawn. Their start script would not run because there's no break for that. And then the actual physics simulation would run in I don't have it open right now. But then the actual physics simulation would run, and then they would all be on layer default, and they would all collide with each other and immediately blow up. So it's just better to, and realistically, I'm not going to have the layers. Like, I'm not going to have a projectile that can be on 2 different layers, can be spawned by players or enemies. I'm just going to have it stuck like this. So If I want different projectiles like that, I can just make 2 projectiles. And yeah, that'll be all. It'll be a small hassle, I guess, but not really. It'll be fine. Yeah, so let me see. I ran into an odd bug. Where if you shoot the edge of a bud like that, what would happen is that the bud would start rotating weirdly. I believe I can actually just show that off here. Yeah. So if I turn back on automatic tensor, this is automatically adding a force of 500 at an arbitrary location. You can see that the X and Z rotations are going crazy, even though, and you can see that sort of, lopsided there, even though the X and Z rotations are frozen. This is because the inertia tensor rotation is non-zero on the X and Z for the X and Z angles. Or rather on the X and Z axes. And this is a consequence of it being automatically recalculated, and there just being a lopsided setup with the collider. Yeah, so it seems the solution there is to just freeze the inertia tensor rotation so that it's not rotated at all, and that also automatically freezes the inertia tensor, which, this actually should recalculate. You can see if I turn that off, then it recalculates so that it's actually 1 right now. But, if I just keep it like this, then it's, it has a rotation of, it has an inertia of, 2.1. So it will be more difficult to rotate than it should, to be realistic. I could recalculate it based on, when the child entities die, but I don't think I'm going to really bother for right now because it's not that big a deal. This is by no means a make or break thing, and yeah, if anything, it might actually be a little bit nice just to increase the stability of it. Yeah, so there's that as well. So yeah, freezing the inertia tensor rotation at startup can alleviate these problems if you're dealing with a 2D game basically in 3D, and you don't want something to rotate on the X and Z axes. Just set the inertia tensor rotation to 0 something other and 0. 0, 0, 0 works. We'll freeze it at startup. If you freeze it at startup, what I'm doing there is I'm just copying the values and then pasting them basically, and that automatically sets it to not automatically calculate. If the object is lopsided to begin with, this will not work. You need this here to not be a copy. You need it to you need this to be 0, 0, 0 probably. Otherwise it will end up getting lopsided when you add forces to it. It's also worth noting that that is only the case for add force or add force at position, to be more specific. If you just have regular collisions, this seems to work just fine. I don't really know why. Ideally, it would just work regardless, but there you go. Yeah, so some interesting side notes there. Let me see, is there anything else? Yeah, I think that's everything. So, oh, yes, so in terms of the day off, long story short, a friend had a day off from work, so I decided to just hang out with them all day. I am still struggling to get stuff done. I think I'm hitting a low point in general, and so I may have more and more days that I just end up not doing work on. This is disheartening, and I am worried about the future of the project. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but you know, it's not ideal by any means, or any stretch of the imagination. My hope is that I kind of spring back from this, but I can only really tell what will happen in time. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just don't have. I guess I'll just ramble for a while if I keep going, so I should probably just end it here. Yeah, again, if I don't have anything to say on a given day, then I'm going to just not post a video, and fingers crossed that's not frequently. Yeah, if you have any comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.